All right. Well, good afternoon, everyone. We're so excited that you can join us today for Virtual Sunday with a Scientist, whether you are watching on Zoom or on Facebook Live. My name is Jen, and I am an educator here at the University of Nebraska State Museum of Natural History, also known as Morrill Hall here in Lincoln. Now, Sunday with a Scientist takes place once a month, and each month we highlight the work of a different scientist. And today we are joined by Dr. Bonita Sharif and her graduate students here from UNL in the Department of Computer Science and Engineering. As I said, we are streaming live on Zoom and Facebook today. We would love for you to participate. We're going to be playing some games throughout the program today, and you can participate by putting your answers or your comments in the comment box on Zoom or on Facebook. And with that, let's go ahead and get started. Dr. Sharif, take it away.
All right. Thanks, Jen, for that introduction. So, okay, let me start by introducing two of my students, my PhD students, Cole and Nilafar. Cole's a first-year PhD student, and Nilafar is a fourth year. They both work with me in my lab here in the university. We have really cool toys that they play with. We have a bunch of eye trackers and other cool biometric devices they work with related to their dissertation. But today we are going to talk about data correction and detection and figure out how all that's done in this whole process of how when we transmit data from one place to another. So let's get started right away. We are constantly either producing data or consuming data, right? So you're using your phone to send a text message to somebody, or you're using your computer to send an email, or you're working on some online application, or you're gaming with someone. So you're constantly either producing or consuming data. But have we thought about what happens when we hit send and where the data actually goes through to get to the other point? At some point, it passes through some transmission medium, right? So we usually assume that it doesn't get changed in the process, but sometimes things go wrong. Okay, the data is changed accidentally. It could be noise in the cable, interference from nearby equipment, and so on. So what we're going to do is try to illustrate this process of how we can detect errors that occur and how we can correct them through a magic trick. It's magic, but it's not really magic, right? We'll figure out how it's actually done. And hopefully by the end of this, you will get to try this with other people as well. So let me quickly start with just giving you a brief description of how data is stored in the computer. If it's an image, if it's a file, even if it's a movie, everything is stored in a bunch of zeros and ones. Be it on your USB flash drive, your SSDs, your hard drives, everything is stored as a bunch of a string of bits like you see here. A binary digit, which is a bit, it can either be of two values, 0 or 1. And a bunch of these strings together make up the document you actually look at on the screen, be it audio, video, and so on. So just to give you context, books are typically written in millions of bits. So when you look at megabytes, that's how many bits would be in it typically. We're not going to get into the conversion of bits into megabytes and all in this exercise, but just to give you perspective, it takes millions and millions of bits to produce a book, for instance. So, however, think about it. It only takes one bit to be out of place for your data to be corrupt. Okay, we don't think about this. A lot of these things are done automatically for us. So let's get right into the activity so we can actually figure out how this is done. This magic trick will let us detect and correct bit errors. Okay, so the goal while playing this game is to guess how it's done, obviously. We'll get started with Cole and Nilafar. They will be the first to volunteer. And hopefully you will guess how they're actually doing the trick. The way we have this set up, so it's set up in the form of a matrix activity. So what you will see is a matrix similar to the one you're seeing up to your right on the screen. And what we'll have, if Cole's doing this first, we'll have them turn around, and then one of you in the audience will send me a private message as to which row or column bit needs to be flipped. Okay, so for instance, if you want to change C2, you will message me and say C2, and I will change C2 from 1 to 0. Then we'll ask Cole to turn around and we'll figure out and see if he can actually determine what bit was flipped. Okay, it's important to send me a private message so none of the volunteers can see what you're actually suggesting to be flipped. Okay, so if you want to turn your videos on, you can, so I can actually see you. That would be awesome. But if not, then you can always type in the chat. All right, so are we ready for the activity? All right, so Cole's volunteered already. He's turned around. So let's look at our first matrix right here. And who is a volunteer? Who would like to send me a private chat message? Just raise your hand so I can. All right, so Lawan, send me a message. I'm not going to say it out loud.
And if you're watching on Facebook, feel free to type it just in the comment section, and then I can message it to Dr. Sharif. And that way Cole will not be able to see what you typed.
All right, Cole, turn around.
Okay, here we go. Oh, 1 second. Okay, well, I'm taking a peek at this and I'm trying to figure it out. And I think I know where it is. Was it C2?
Lawan, is that correct? Yes, yes.
Wow.
Well, how did you do it?
Ah.
Okay, turn around again.
Okay.
There's another one, another request. So I'm going to try and do that one. Okay, turn around.
Turn around. Okay. Well, the point here is that you want me to find where it is, and it's at D1.
Is that correct, Yoen? Yes.
Woo.
Woo! Okay. Okay, but I don't know. I think you're memorizing these. Let's make it a bit harder. I don't know.
Okay.
I feel like you're memorizing these bits. How about this one?
Ooh, okay.
More
Okay,
numbers
turn
this
around.
time.
Okay,
So-
who wants to volunteer to send me a private message?
If anyone watching on Facebook wants to try it out, let us know the column and row that you want Dr. Sharif to change.
Same people can try it again.
Yeah.
If you want. Okay, thank you. I have one. Right, you can turn around, Cole.
Okay. Ooh, this is much bigger than the other one. Interesting. This is a bit odder. Otter? No, that's a animal. Oh. I think what you did was put it in F6.
Is that correct? How did you
Nice.
do that? So does anyone want to guess as to how Cole's doing this? You can unmute and just speak. Otherwise, we can keep going.
Yeah.
Maybe try it again and see if anybody
Mhm.
is able to catch on to what's happening.
No.
Yes, so
Nilüfer, did
Nilüfer, you want to try?
Sure.
All right, so let's start you off. Turn around, turn around.
Yeah.
All right. So who wants to send me a private message with the row and column?
Anybody on Facebook? Let us know the row and column that Dr. Sharif should change. All right, we're gonna have to go with somebody from Zoom again. Facebook's being quiet today.
Mm.
William, do you want to give it a shot? We have Tara joining us as well. Okay, Nilufar has been turning around for quite some time. I hope we don't lose her. So,
Here, I'll send one. Let's see.
oh, I got one. Okay.
Okay.
Okay, Nilufar, turn around. Actually, you know what? I did it wrong, but it was mine. So I'll do Williams next. Go ahead, Nilufar. Oh, did we lose Nilufar?
Oh, we lost her, but she just came back in. So this
Okay.
will really be a surprise for her.
Okay, Nilufar, go.
Can you see me?
Yes.
Hi. Okay, let's see. My internet died for a second, so I didn't see anything. So is it in row 1?
Yes.
Okay. And is it in column A?
Yes,
Okay.
this is my one. So what is it?
A1.
Oh, yes. All right, so I'm going to take the next one. Turn around again, Nilufar.
Okay.
I'm going to take the next one. All right, turn back around.
Okay, let's see this one. So is this one in column B?
Close, yeah.
Okay.
Mm.
And is it 5B?
Nope.
Okay.
We stumped her.
see. Okay, is it B1?
Yes, correct. That was
Okay.
Williams. So Williams asking, is there symmetry across the diagonal? Close, but not quite. But you're on the right path to find, to guess the correct answer. Okay, let's go to another one.
Okay.
I just created these random matrices here. So, okay, turn around, Nilufar. Who wants, oh, so I have Yawen with 1. I'm going to do Yawen's. All right, turn around.
Okay. So this is a more complicated matrix. Let me see. So is it in row 3?
Yes.
Okay, let me see. So is it C3?
How'd you do that so quickly, Nilufar? Yawen, is it correct?
Yes, correct.
Yay.
So do you, can you guess as to how she did it?
Memorize all of the 0 and 1s where they are.
Did you, Nilufar?
No, I didn't. I just looked at it for 1 second.
Okay. Well, I noticed the row sums and column sums are the same.
You're getting close. What else can you, let's do one more. Okay, let's do one more. I got an advanced one too, just to make it harder. Then we'll do 100 by 100, okay?
Ooh,
So, who wants to do this? Cole?
sure.
I can do it.
Okay.
Oh, you can do, okay, Jen.
Yeah.
Turn around. Oh,
you want-
sorry, I thought Jen said it, never mind.
Oh,
Jen, are
okay.
you volunteering or I'm just picking you as a volunteer? Okay,
I can
Nilufar,
try.
Oh, we'll get you next.
Okay.
Nilufar, turn around. Let's have you.
So
You
should
gotta
I?
turn around. Nilufar.
Okay.
So just so you don't see. Okay, who wants to give me the row and column?
And if you're watching on Facebook, feel free to put in the comment which row and column, so like C2 or B4, should Dr. Sharif change? And then we're going to have Nilufar see if she can figure out which number got changed. Nothing yet. Facebook is very quiet. Okay, somebody from Zoom.
Okay, I got one. All right, turn around, Nilufar.
Okay. Okay. Let's see if I can get this one right. Is it in row 3?
Yes.
Okay. And let's see, is it E3?
Lawand, is it correct? She's
Was I right?
Now, this has to be, I mean, how did you do this so quickly? There has to be a trick to this. So the one was really close, right? What did you say again? Tell us again what you said. No, tell us what you noticed in the pattern in these numbers. You said they sum to what? You said the sum is the same. Can you elaborate a little more on that?
Sorry, are you asking me?
Yes, I am. Yeah.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
Lawan. Okay. Feels like for the first few matrices, it seems to me the row sum was equal to column sums, but this one doesn't equal. So row 3 doesn't equals to the sum of column C. So I'm not sure.
Okay, let's go to the simple matrix again. We'll do. You're getting
And-
close, looking for patterns, that's
Mhm.
correct. But instead of looking for the sum, what else do you notice in the zeros and ones, the combinations? Okay, Cole wants to do this.
Sure.
And we got one from Facebook, so I will message that to you.
Okay. Got it. That was in the, let's just change the matrix then. Okay. Go here, D6.
What?
Oh,
Now the
no.
Oh, sorry. I'm horrible at this game.
We
Okay,
heard that.
we start over.
Okay, we'll try it again. And someone on Facebook is wondering, they're also looking at the pattern and trying to figure out how you all are figuring which number changed. And they're wondering, is it in binary numbers? So this is binary, right?
This is binary, yes, but these bits are just random bits. We don't care what they mean at this point. They're just a string of zeros and ones at this point. So we need another volunteer for the matrix that you see currently. It's called intermediate matrix 1. And we need a row and column. And I promise I will not blurt out the answer.
If someone on Facebook wants to type in a row and column, like say E2 or B1, that Dr. Sharif should change, go ahead and put it in the comments on Facebook, or we'll have somebody from Zoom do it again.
Are they all even? The row sum, column sum seems to be either 2 or 4.
You're very close, yes. So let's play it again.
Okay,
and
I
then
got
you
one.
You can tell us exactly how to detect it. In fact, I would like you to be the next participant after we have this one going up. Okay, so I have one. I did get one from Facebook from Jen, so I'm going to do that one. All right, Cole, turn around.
Turn around. Okay, so looking down, I can tell that it, let's see, looking down, it appears to be in row 3. And it appears that it's in column F, so 3F.
I can acknowledge that to be correct. Yes, because that was given to me F3. Oh my gosh, amazing. Yavan, do you want to do the next one as a volunteer?
I can try.
Can you put your video on so we know you're not actually looking at the screen?
Oh, yeah, sure.
Awesome.
Me?
Yes, so turn around. We need to see you turning around.
Okay, like this.
No,
Or if you can flip the camera.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, what happened?
Oh, so it's facing you and you're looking away?
yeah, you turn around. Just you keep your camera as it is, but you turn face backwards. Yep. All right. So now we need somebody to tell us. No peeking.
Oh, this one's still from a previous one with B1 is flipped.
Oh, I heard B1.
Okay.
No, that was a previous one that needed to be
Okay. I'm
corrected
choosing
back.
a different one. Thank you, Cole, for saving me. Okay. So, all right, here.
Am I good?
No. Wait, I need somebody to tell me a row and column. All right, I got one. Okay, turn around. Here's your time to shine.
Okay. It's in row 2.
Yes.
E.
What?
E2.
No,
Not
but it is in row 2.
Row 2, column E. Not correct?
No.
Ooh, that's what I would have guessed too. I wasn't paying attention when you changed it.
2C.
Yes. How'd you get that?
Because column C sum to 1, column 2 sums to 3. So if should be even, then 2C is equals to 1. Then I have even numbers for the row sum, column sum.
Yes. You did it.
I guessed column E because
Mhm.
column E sums to 3. So I thought,
Yes. So yeah, we'll talk about that in a minute and how
Okay.
these were placed. But anyone wants to try that again? Now that we know the trick, right? Does anyone want to be a volunteer that actually wants to turn around and try?
If anybody on Facebook would like to try, just say me in the comments. We won't be able to see you, but we'll have to trust that you're not peeking.
Right.
All right, Facebook is being quiet. Maybe somebody in Zoom.
I'll do it.
You'll do it again?
No,
I'll try.
no,
I'll try.
Oh
Want
yeah.
to try? Okay, cool. Which one do you want? Beginner, intermediate, or advanced?
Give me intermediate. I'm not quite confident enough that I can do advanced yet.
All right, here you go. So turn around. Okay, so who wants to send me a direct message? I can't see Facebook, so this has to be just Zoom. Okay, I got one. Okay, hold on. Okay, turn around. You can also
Okay.
talk through your thought process as you're figuring this out, if that helps.
Okay, I'm wondering if it's in C, column C. Yes, okay. And I'm looking for even numbers. Maybe C2.
Yes.
Yay! I learned a new trick today.
So it's not always necessarily the bigger the matrix, the harder it is, because if you know the trick, what to look for, right?
Mhm.
Come on, someone's brave enough to try this. Who wants
Any
to-
of our other participants want to give this a try and see if you can guess? Okay, somebody on Facebook wants to try. Yeah. All right.
Do
do
they
you
want to
want-
do beginner or intermediate or advanced?
Yeah, let us know what size you want to try. All right, she says advanced.
Go for it. Okay, I'm going to take the advanced. All right, so turn
Okay,
around.
so Yeah, Molly, go ahead and cover your eyes or turn around so that you can't see. And then we're going to need to wait probably a couple seconds since there is a delay for Facebook.
All right, so I'm waiting for a message to me on Zoom or for Jen to tell me from Facebook what needs to be flipped. I have one from Zoom, but do we want to wait for one from Facebook?
Let's go ahead and use the one from Zoom.
Okay.
Okay, Molly, keep your eyes averted.
Okay, now Molly can look now.
Okay, Molly, whenever you're ready, type in what column and row you think changed. And if you want to type through your thought process too, that is perfectly fine. I wasn't paying attention either, so I'm going to see if I can figure this out. She's thinking, or I'm sorry, Molly's thinking maybe row 2.
Yes.
Column C.
We are all pros at this. That is correct.
Nice job, Molly.
So how did Molly figure this out? Can they write a little thing, a small summary?
They say, yay.
Right, so while that's happening, I want to move back to the, just to give a little description of what happened here. So what did we do? Right, if you noticed, you know, as people guessed the correct answer, I'm so glad you guessed it. I'm thrilled about that. The rightmost column and the bottommost row were placed in a way, the zeros and the ones were placed in a way such that the number of ones were even in every row and in every column. Okay, we call this the parity row and the parity column. What is a parity? Parity is just a bit that acts as a check on a set of binary values. And it's calculated in a way that the number of ones, at least there are different formulas, but in this one, the formula was, if there are a number of one, we need to make the parity either a 0 or 1 to make sure that there is an even number of ones in that row or column. Okay, so our parity bits needed to be placed in a way such that the number of ones in that row or column was even. And we call that even parity. So after we flipped a bit, what you notice is that was off in that row or column. So you know, when Nilofar turned around, she basically tried to give you hints by saying, is it in this row? And then is it in this column? Because that's how she went about trying to figure this out. It's looking for the odd number of ones in the rows and then the column. And that gives you the bit, right? That's what we use parity bits for. So just think of them as a check on a set of binary values. Okay, so you didn't need too many skills here. You needed to know how to count, right? Recognizing odd and even, in this case, 0 was even, and just trying to train your brain to explore patterns and relationships in numbers. Okay, this is important because even around us, as we see things, we, as humans, we're inclined to look for these patterns, right? Kids do this all the time. They look for patterns and shapes and all these things, but we tend to lose this as we grow up. We should keep exploring those skills, patterns and relationships. That's really what it was. So there was no magic. I also want to point out certain real life examples that use error bits. For instance, we have all looked at a book, and if you see a book at the back or in the front cover, there is something called the ISBN, okay, the International Standard Book Number. And I show one there. It's a 10-digit number. Did you know that the last digit was actually a parity bit or a checksum to determine if the number was correct? And the formula they use here is they take the first number, you see here, multiply by 10, plus take the second number, multiply by 9, third number, multiply by 8, and so on until you get to that 1. You take that sum, that summation, you divide it by 11, 1 plus the ISBN, and then you take the remainder of that number. Okay, if that remainder is 0, then this number should be 0. If it's not 0, then it has to be 11 minus that remainder. And in this case, it's 4, and so we have 4 here. This is how you determine whether your ISBN is transmitted correctly or not. The same thing happens with barcodes. Okay, the barcodes also has a checksum, a check digit. It's a different formula than this one, but it's the same concept. So sometimes when you see the cashier scanning this and the machine beeps and they rescan it, it's possible that it just didn't scan the code correctly. So they have to rescan it, right? So errors are inherent. We can't change the fact that errors are going to happen. We just need to figure out a way to deal with it. And the more we can correct this automatically without the user even knowing, the better it is, right? Sometimes it can't be done, but sometimes it can. So what are the common errors? We have a digit changes its value. Sometimes you have things swapped, 2 adjacent digits that are swapped. Maybe you insert a digit instead of is inserted in the number, so you make it bigger than it actually is, or you have something removed right from the number. So I want to distinguish 2 things that are happening here. One is the detection. So the error detection means, yes, we recognize that the data is corrupted, and that's different from error correction. This is the ability to actually reconstruct the original data. Okay, so in this game, we did both. We not only detected where the error was, but we could correct it easily because we knew the exact cell that was flipped because of the even parity that we looked at here, right? I'll give you an example. For instance, if you go and deposit, let's say $10 in the bank, okay, just to show the difference between how important it is sometimes to correct. If you deposit $10 and due to some electrical interference, on the other end, it's registered as a $1,000 deposit. Now for you, that's great, but for the bank, not so much, right? So we have to figure out a way how to fix this. One way to do is retransmit, and they could retransmit the data. But sometimes, and so you don't have to worry about the correction part, right? But sometimes it's not possible to retransmit. So think about the data that's received from a deep space probe. Okay, just to give you context, it takes about over half an hour to get a radio signal from Jupiter. Okay, when it's closest to the Earth. Okay, so we have to find ways, if possible, to fix the errors on the receiving end, if we can, especially if they're easy to fix. And we have listed some common ones there, which it is possible with certain tricks to actually fix these on the receiving end. Okay, so we use the same technique. The technique we used in the card flip game, the matrix game we saw, is the same thing computers use. It's based on the same parity scheme. Your hard disk has a space allotted in it, in your computer, that is constantly checking for data reliability, and it's based on this scheme. Of course, they use more complex algorithms, but it's based on the same concept. So any questions? I'm happy to answer questions as well.
Dr. Sharif, may I ask a question?
Yes,
Or maybe
absolutely.
more- The ISBN example is very interesting, and then I just realized, sometimes when I enter my credit card information on the website, and it just instantly know that I entered the numbers incorrectly, like without linking to my bank information or anything. And I just quickly Google, and it was using the same logic as you were describing for the ISBN error trackings, and I found that really amazing.
Yes, so Cole, do you want to elaborate on that?
Yeah, so it's actually a slightly different algorithm. So that one, it's kind of a reverse thing, and it handles certain errors. So the algorithm for the error checking is the Loon algorithm, and basically it does some modulus arithmetic and other stuff like that. It is interesting, but it handles basically every single digit error, and it handles two-digit flips. So for most of the things, 0, 9, and I believe like 2 and 3 or something. If it flips those, it won't detect it. But if you have any two numbers and you either flip it or you mistake any number, it will catch the error almost guaranteed.
That's interesting. Are there a lot of algorithms like this that's well established?
Yes, there are quite a few, and we can go into like hours and hours talking about that, but it's based on the same concept though. If you want more reading material, I'm happy to share it later on. But yeah, it's really amazing to see how these things, we use this every day. We don't realize, we take it for granted, but there's so much happening behind the scenes that is making our user experience so much better. But great observation on the credit card example. Awesome example.
Great, thank you so much. This is really helpful. Very interesting.
We got another comment in the chat box there if you want to open that up, or I can read it to you.
Oh, we have a question here. So is this part of code theory or information theory or number theory? You can always derive a relationship to these different things, but it's based on basically, patterns and data. So the parity scheme is based on, the odd and even concept. So sure, you can have more sophisticated methods that are derived from these different theories that are available, but at the base, it's basically just this parity scheme that we talked about. If Cole and Nilüfer want to elaborate, they can also do that. But when I think of information theory, I think of Shannon's theory, right? The information theory, and that's it's related to entropy, which is different from what we are talking about here. But I'm sure there are schemes that use entropy for that.
Yeah, and I'm sure there's some theorems and stuff that say like this amount of error correction will let you reconstruct stuff, but it's slightly connected, but it's definitely its own field of study.
Right. So things to think about, right? We looked at a 1-digit flip. What if 2 or more bits are flipped, right? And then we didn't tell you this, but the lower right-hand card was always a 0 in our numbers. If you use that also in your scheme, for instance, if you have that as a 1, if the top column numbers were even, then it will always, and you can test this out, it will always be correct for the row. Okay, so if you choose it to be correct for the column above to have even parity, it will always be correct for the row. In this one, we used even parity. You can try it with odd parity. It's going to be a little different with the lower right-hand card if you choose to use it. It will only work if both the numbers are the same. So for instance, if you have a 9x5 matrix, it will work, but it will not work for a 3x4 where one of them is an odd and one of them is even. Okay, so try it out. You'll see these. It's pretty fascinating to see these patterns. Other things, what to do after this event, get your siblings, get your parents, get your grandparents, show them this cool trick you learned. And the way I would do it if this was in person, take some post-it notes. You can put a 0 and 1 on them, or you can just have 2 colored notes like pink and blue or black and white. And then just place the cards on the table as you go in a matrix. But the last row, when you're placing, you should have, the sense to place that if it's a 1. So if you had 1, 0, 1, and it's even, the last has to be a 0. Otherwise, there's no way of you knowing, right? So when you're placing these numbers, make sure that the last row and column is placed in a way such that you have even parity or odd parity, depending on what you're doing. But you have to also be slick about it, like pretend like you're just doing it normally in a random way, but really and you have to practice this a little bit to get used to it. But look and see how long it takes for the other person to figure out what you're doing. So try these at home, try it with siblings. Yeah, of course, you can show them how cool you are. You always want that with your siblings, right? There's more information you can learn about these activities at csunplug.org. They have some really cool activities that you can try out. And it's unplugged because you don't need a computer. All you need is yourself and some props. So I'm happy to play the game more if you want to try it, or I'm happy to take questions as well. This was so much fun. I'm so glad you figured it out.
Yeah, and Molly did figure it out. I didn't want to interrupt you, but Molly commented that they were thinking it was odd numbers versus even. So nice job, Molly.
Yes. Good job.
Well, if anyone has any questions on Facebook or Zoom, feel free to type them in the chat or the comment box. Really quickly, I want to share about next month's event, because Sunday with a Scientist is a monthly event. And next month, the event's going to be taking place on, let's see, the last Sunday in June 27th, and we're going to be focusing on forensic anthropology. And then in July, our topic is the Serengeti in a Petri dish, and we'll be exploring all of the microscopic organisms that live in water. Those are sure to be fun ones, so we hope you can come back and check those out. I am going to put a link in the comment box and the chat box to our program and events page in case you want to go ahead and just sign up right now so that you won't forget. And one other thing that I wanted to mention, which if you have been to another Sunday with a Scientist, you've heard me talk about this, but we have an awesome new exhibit open right now called Poop and Pause that will be up at Morrill Hall through the summer. So we encourage you to come to the museum and play and check it out. And with that, let's go back to see if we have any more questions. So I always like to ask our presenters too about your path to doing what you do now. How did you get interested in computer science, and what led you to where you are now?
I'll let my students go first.
You can go first if you want.
Okay. So I think the reason why I got into computers was that I like that it made all the little tasks that I wanted to do automatic. So I was always wondering what's going on behind the scenes. And then I learned about algorithms and how you can basically modify them to do whatever you want to do, and just basically save a lot of time and energy. And then you can also create new algorithms, and you can create new tasks that you couldn't even do when you were doing them manually. So this is what kind of like got me into studying algorithms and computer science, and that's what got me here.
I found a meme on the internet that was a HTML for babies book. And I thought, if a baby can do it, so can I. And I learned programming because of that. And it was something that just hit my brain in a right way. It just released the dopamine in good ways. And that was basically it. Then I went to school for it. And then I came to UNL for grad school, met Benita, and that's where I've been here. And she pulled me into academia and the PhD program. So
Yeah.
Both joined our PhD program last year. I mean, what can I say? It's so interesting that you had to stay.
Yeah, I really enjoyed it. It was so good. I
Both
say you
Cole-
pulled me in, but I loved it. So
Yeah.
Both Cole and Nilüfer are so awesome to work with. I mean, I truly have fun working with them. It's really not a job. We have so much fun in the lab. We work so hard, but it's also fun. We love what we do. My story is a little different. I wanted to actually just make games. I was a big fan growing up when I was 16, 17 of video games, and just also animated film. I wanted to learn how to create those things, and I thought, oh, maybe computer science is the way to go because they use computers to do that. So I wanted to do that, and I got in because of that. But then I realized that, it's much more than just creating animations. That's what got me in. But what got me to stay was all the other cool things I saw when I could tap into, let's say, automating things, for instance, that Nilüfer mentioned. And then I realized also that Pixar is not going to hire me Okay, so I had to have plan B.
There's
And
still
that was,
hope.
well, I have a colleague actually that works at Pixar. But it's amazing to see, like, you know, so what I would like to tell people is, don't keep your options open, don't close them. You might not, what you think what you need now might not be what you really end up doing 5 years from now. It might be the same road, but it's a different sort of turn, right? So I couldn't imagine just thinking what I'm doing. I didn't want to get my PhD initially. I just wanted to get my master's and work. But then, you know, I had a great advisor that said, hey, come to my meeting and sit and let's talk about this research. And I was hooked into that because I thought they did really cool stuff. And that's what got me to stay. Okay, so that's what I mean. Like, keep your options open. You never know what opportunity is there, and you know, the door that might open for you. So yeah.
That is wonderful advice. And with that, I think we can go ahead and wrap it up because we actually went 2 minutes over. So thank you so much to our presenters for being here with us today and for sharing your science and teaching us this very fun magic trick that I'm going to have to try out on my family. And everyone, thanks for joining us and watching on Facebook and Zoom today. We'll hope to see you next month or in July at some of our upcoming Sunday with the Scientist events, and have a fantastic rest of your weekend. All right, bye everyone.
Thanks, everybody.